Welcome to Rask's Australian Business Podcast, a series for entrepreneurs who dare to leave the world in a better place and get paid while we do it. This podcast will make you a better business owner, investor, founder, or entrepreneur. If you want to start a business or already have one, please subscribe to the series or share it with your friends, business partner, or colleagues. And don't forget to consider taking our free business course, which includes heaps of templates for creating business plans, HR documents, employee files, all of my software recommendations, and more. The course is completely free and available via the link in your podcast player. Okay, let's get into the episode. Welcome to episode 3 of the Australian Business Podcast. If you haven't already listened to episodes 1 and 2, I would encourage you to do that. Between now and roughly episode 12, these episodes and the lessons relate to starting a business and managing a small business. However, if you already own a business or you already operate your own business, I'm sure there will be many tidbits that you can take from these podcasts. In the back of my mind, I knew I would likely end up owning a business, even if it didn't work out. It just suits my personality type to give it a crack. I'm the creator personality type whenever I do those tests. In practice, that meant I had a long while to think about and prepare for starting a business. I figured out pretty early in life what I needed to do, the risks involved, and so on. If you haven't already done this, now is a great time to start this process. I would encourage you to keep a journal, such as in Notion, in a Google document, or just on a notepad, where you can keep your research and ideas as they come to you. Before you test the water with both feet on a new business, so to speak, here's a list of things you'll want to know. Which licenses do you need to operate your business? For example, a plumber will need to become a plumber, obviously, and then get the appropriate tickets to sign off on jobs, such as waste, roof plumbing, gas, etc. Which insurances do you need? For technical businesses, this is usually tied to the license that you get. For example, in financial advice, you need to get a financial services license, which requires extensive and expensive professional indemnity insurance, aka PI insurance. In building and construction, you'll likely have to get builder's warranty insurance to complete a job worth more than a few $1,000s. What equipment or tools do you need to run your business? What skills or knowledge will you need? So just in reflection, we've got what licenses do you need to operate your business? Which insurances do you need? What tools and equipment? What skills or knowledge will you need? As you can imagine, some of these may take years to attain, so it's important that you start planning early. My advice is to take 3 business owners for a coffee, or just give them a call, to ask them about what's required to run a small business and if they would do things differently if they had their time again. These lessons are invaluable to you. As the saying goes, a person without a master has a fool for a master. You can learn from people who have gone before you. Knowing your customer. Knowing your customer is integral to any small business and marketing and sales teams alike. After all, if you don't know who you are trying to attract, how will you ever find them? A simple way to fine-tune everything from your marketing to your culture is to create a customer profile or avatar. In the free Rask Business course, I've created a Google Sheet, which you can take a moment to fill in for yourself. The types of things you want to know when you build a customer profile are their age, gender, you can give them a first name, a job, income, what clothes they wear, their family situation, and what they do on weekends. At Rask, our entire digital business is built on serving 2 customer types. We have Sky and we have Ryan. Sky is a 30-year-old hairdresser who's just got married, and she's earning around about $85,000 a year. She wants to know about finance and investing, but she doesn't want to take too much risk. And then there's Ryan. Ryan is a 45-year-old engineer who loves to tinker with things and learn how the investing world works. He earns $160,000. Using our 2 customer profiles or avatars, our entire Rask ecosystem has been built, from the podcast to our news websites to our membership sites. We have two distinct customers, and everything we do serves those two people. The government's business.gov.au website has put together a comprehensive business plan template. You can download it in a Word doc form, which you can use to create and make your own. There are two options when you download this document. There's the lean template, which is just a simple one, and then there's the more comprehensive one. However, you should also know that in the Rask business course, we do have our own business plan, which you can download, and it's very customizable. It includes all of the lessons from every podcast in the Australian Business Podcast series. My business plan. Now that we know a bit about your motivation for starting a business, which was in the previous episode, and who your target customer is, we can begin building a business plan. A business plan is important because it'll help you get your thoughts down and sense check as you go. In many cases, it's a requirement for some industry tickets or licenses. For example, in the financial services industry, to get a license, you have to submit a business plan. And many banks, just like NAB, which is the leading business bank in Australia, and investors in your business will require you to have a business plan before they fund your business. NAB is Australia's leading business bank, providing billions of dollars in loans to small businesses. The types of questions they will ask you include, who are your customers? What do you supply? What's your potential? Where do you sit in your market? How well do you understand your market? I didn't make those up. Those are actual questions that NAB asks. Who are your customers? What do you supply? What's your potential? Where do you sit in your market? How well do you understand your market? Here are some, guiding questions to think about as you go through building a business plan. And I've divided them into 3 different segments. We've got market research, competitive advantage, costs, and forecasts. So let's start with market research. And these questions are rhetorical, but I'd encourage you, as you think about your business, answer them in your head. How many competitors can I find in my market? What do they do well? What do they do poorly? How are they pricing their products? Where are their customers coming from? Who is the leader? Just imagine for a moment you're looking to start, a cafe. How many competitors are there? There would probably be a few. And you could probably just walk around the area to inspect those businesses. What do they do well? Do some of them have better coffee or a well-lit room? What do they do poorly? Are some of them, really dreary and kind of out of date? How are they pricing their products? Coffee is a fairly commoditized product, but sometimes different cafes charge different prices. Where are their customers coming from? Is it foot traffic? Do they have an Instagram profile which feeds an online presence? Who is the leader? The second part is competitive advantage. And this is important no matter what type of company you are, big or small, and what type of business structure you have. How will I solve my customer's problem? What will I do better than others? Can I reduce my costs and de-risk my business? Can I get away with charging a higher price? If so, why? Which brands can I use as examples for the way I want to create my brand? Here's an interesting one. Can I hijack a successful business model, design, format, focus, or inspiration, and make it my own? There are very few points for originality in business. Sometimes you need to take the best of what everyone else has figured out and do it yourself. Which suppliers do I need to get my business off the ground? All of these questions relate to you having a competitive advantage. But by far the most important one is the first one. How will I solve my customer's problem? If you have a clear picture in your head of your target customer or your customer profile, what problems do they have and how will you solve it? If you focus on solving problems, your business will be a success. Costs and forecasts. In this section, we're just talking about a business plan and kind of the spreadsheet nitty-gritty. What equipment do you need? what are the ongoing costs? So sometimes it's important to break apart what costs do I have at the start of my business journey and what will be ongoing. Who are the people that I need to make my business work? Do I need a designer? Do I need a roof plumber? Do I need an architect? Who do I need? What are the number of customers, projects, jobs, or clients that I'm likely to get in years 1, 2, or 3? Some of the banks will require this. They will want you to know how many customers you will likely get in that time and how much you will make from each customer. What is my projected turnover or revenue? If you're confused by the financials, don't worry about that. We'll get to that in time. And finally, holidays. Have you budgeted for holidays in your business plan? If a business that you're starting requires solely your attention and you have no other way to keep your business going without you, you may need to budget some lean months. Building a business plan is really important for any business, whether you're new or existing. It took me a long time to figure this out, but by far, one of the crucial steps is building that customer profile. Because once you define who your customer is, then you can design things around them. You can design marketing strategies, sales strategies, who you're going to employ and why. Business plans don't need to be extensive. I've created free templates for you to download, and the government has too, with checklists to go with it. Take a moment to reflect on those, use those for your business, and try to define what problem you're going to solve for your target customer. In the next episode of the Australian Business Podcast, I'm going to talk to you about marketing, and you'll be surprised at some of the facts and figures that I bring up and how you can use them to your advantage. Thanks for listening to this short episode of the Australian Business Podcast. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Australian Business Podcast. I think this series is best served with my free business course on Rask Education. My free course includes all of my notes, templates, employment guides, legal documents, marketing strategies, software recommendation, and ideas for starting and running a small business. If you're a small business owner or an expert like an accountant, lawyer, investor, or entrepreneur, I want to hear from you. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do with this podcast series, so I'm looking for sponsors, as well as potential co-hosts, and of course I'm eager to invest in businesses run by talented people. If you're looking for a supporter or advisor, a silent partner, or even an investor to support your growth, I can help. Please contact me via the Rask website. Finally, if this podcast or the course helps you, I only ask that you please help me by sharing it with one friend, colleague, or family member who runs a business. Thanks for listening.